It is party time Monday. Let me tell you something, folks. I don't know if you know this or not, but you women have to get used to the smell of your poop, all right? Yes, I said that. There is a new study out that is telling people to be more inclusive of transgenders who have had bottom surgery because they actually remove parts of their colon in order to create a vagina, that everyone is going to have to get used to the smell of poop, because we don't want transgenders feeling unique in any way. They just have a colon for a vagina. Yes, you can look it up. Yes, this is true. Yes, that's how they do it. And believe it or not, God created you with certain enzymes in your colon to break down, in the digestive tract. You get the point. It smells like ass is what it smells like. People, speaking of smelling like ass, Super Chris Cruz, who loves to tell me how many people hate me. In fact, Chris loves to tell everybody.
True.
That everybody, if you're a host of a show, oh, bro, people hate you right now. Mark, I don't know if you heard, but so what they do is when I tweet something, they like to take a screenshot of the tweets and put it on the Watch Chad Prather Facebook page. Now, a town square, if you want to call it that, a public square and forum like Twitter doesn't always translate to Facebook as well. Everybody's kind of, people on Twitter are a little more laser focused to piss each other off. Let's just put it that way. On Facebook, it's a little more homogenized and a little more shallow. So people don't understand kind of the biting sarcasm and cynicism with which I tend to operate on Twitter. Follow me at Watch Chad. So I said the other day, every cultural problem, every problem in culture can basically be brought back to parenting. A lot of people disagreed with that. They said that's an oversimplification. I still stand by it. I think culturally it comes down to parenting, the lack of it, the bad form of it, the bad practice of it, blah, blah, blah. Let's talk to super parent on the couch, Sara Gonzales. Of course, on the other side is Alex Stein.
I have 5 cats, so I'm a super parent as well. Yes, please.
Alex is not Dr. Evil today. I think he's Dan Crenshaw.
I'm a GOP operative. I'm not Dan Crenshaw. I'm just one of his disciples in this culture war. So whatever Big Dan says, I got Big D energy for Big Dan.
Big Dan energy. Mm-hmm. We're going to get to you in a second.
Not so big.
This parenting thing. All right, so I made the comment that parenting, it comes down to parenting.
Yeah.
I think the sexuality thing, the pronoun thing, the identity, the gender thing, all of these things we're dealing with culturally, the lack of respect, lack of authority, the school shootings, the mass shootings, wherever they're not just schools, all of these things. Again, it comes down to parenting.
I agree with you. I mean, I think with every generalization, you're going to have, some random outlier like, oh, well, this person was mentally ill and there was nothing that the parents could have done. However, even in that case, especially with the Uvalde shooting and a couple others, I think we've heard the parents, specifically the moms, kind of make excuses for the kids after they've gone and shot up a bunch of people.
That's true. And I know people who have kids with mental issues. Right. And you know what? They do a good job with that kid.
Right.
So
right. Probably make sure they don't have a gun.
I'm not saying that every shitty thing that happens in society, ultimately we just blame the parents. That's not what I'm saying.
No.
I'm just saying we're doing a poor job of parenting.
I totally agree. You know why? Because parenting is hard and people have kids and decide that they don't want to put in the work.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean you can be a great parent. Your kids can still be rebellious. All kids go through rebellious phase. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying overall, our overarching. That's the problem with social media is when you make a blanket generalized statement like that, people start individualizing and they single out their situation and they always say, yeah, but and I said, no, it wasn't about you.
Right.
It's just a cultural generalization of what we're dealing with. So what else did they hate, totally Chris?
Agree.
Did they... there was a couple of things that they said.
I want to make this point about parenting. When you look at the amount of transgender children in Los Angeles compared to Ohio, that's because of the parents. Having a trans kid is like having a vegan cat. It's the parents making that decision or the owner.
They're the ones feeding
That's what I'm saying. So it is a parental problem. And when I went to that drag your kids to Pride event, there's literally kids on their video game system. The parents are grabbing the video game system saying, look at the drag queen. So you're 100% right. It's the parents that are influencing and making these younger generations into absolute nightmares.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, we're creating good discussion here. That's what I do. I'm very polka dotted. These are little cactuses.
I really like that
These are
shirt.
Cacti.
It's great.
These are cacti.
I don't think I've ever seen
and the boots look extra nice today. Those are like
these are rattlesnake boots right here. Look at these things. I don't know if you guys could see them or not on that. So The story here, I was doing a show in Warrenton. Is it Warrenton or Warren? Warrenton, Missouri, north of St. Louis. Forgive me if I'm messing that up. I think it was Warrenton. And this guy was walking down the street, and he had all these boots under his arm. And I was like, I got out at the place, and I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Man, I got to sell these boots." And I said, "Well, how much you sell them for?" He said, $15.
What?
Yeah, and I said, "Man, that's some snakeskin boots." I said, "Let me see if they fit." Because I was going to buy them even if they didn't.
Yeah.
Because he told me his story.
That he's on fentanyl.
For me,
That he stole them
this was
from
before
the boot
fentanyl was
store.
all the craze.
Okay.
This was a few years ago. This was when I was doing the state fair shows at the state fair, like a carnival barker. Seriously, I had a fun time, but almost died in a tornado that night. But I was already made up my mind I was going to pay him because he's, obviously he told me his story. I give money to panhandlers based on their sales pitch. Okay,
That's funny.
Seriously. Because
They're
you go to
good
like places like
salespeople.
Fort Worth or Dallas or whatever, and they bring their kids out there. They'll push the kids in the strollers and make the kid ask you.
Speaking of
that
good
pisses me
parenting.
off.
What?
Oh yeah, you come to Fort Worth.
I've never seen that.
They'll push kids and babies. They'll make those kids stay out there all day long, and they'll make the kids ask for the money.
Yeah.
Oh.
You've never seen that, Sarah? Where they're
I've
on the
never
corner with
seen
their
I
that.
kids?
always say
Yeah.
no to that. Always say no to that. But I've had some pretty good sales pitches around America.
That's funny. Do you give more for creativity?
He wanted these $15. I gave him $35.
Oh.
I gave him $35.
see.
That's all the cash I had in my pocket. I'm an altruistic human being,
they're
I'm
worth
also
it.
a racist. Don't forget. But now I did not tell you that the guy was black. He was black.
Okay.
Now the other day we told a story about me helping a black
Yes,
lady and her
yes.
child, and 2 Pakistanis came, and that was the most racist story they'd ever heard. People.
What?
Yeah, but, I mean, I was talking about diversity of people coming together, but you can't talk about diversity and tell a story about diversity
Oh my God.
because it's the
Nope.
most racist story ever.
Of course.
So
That-
anyway,
So racist that you helped this woman go get gas
yeah.
with her baby in the car, trying to push the car down the road. Okay.
How dare you say her little girl had braids? She's a little girl. She has braids, ponytails.
And they were
She
cute.
had whatever. She's a cute little girl.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah.
Everything's about race
Oh,
and gender,
my
though, Chad.
God.
Everybody's a victim. Everybody. It has to be broken down into categories. We can't just all be, human beings.
Everybody can't be a big booty Latina.
I
Now
know.
look, you went
true.
to Washington D.C. this last week. Let's start this story because it's going to take a couple of segments to get through it. So, Alex Stein, if you've missed the video at this point, you had your head under a rock. People have varying opinions on Alex's behavior and his MO on this thing. But would you play this clip, please?
AOC, my favorite big booty Latina. I love you, AOC. You're my favorite. She wants to kill babies, but she's still beautiful. You look very beautiful in that dress. You look very sexy. Look at that booty on AOC. That's my favorite big booty Latina.
I want to do a little selfie.
I love it. My favorite AOC. Nice to meet you, AOC. Look how sexy she looks in that dress. Woo, I love it, AOC. Hot, hot, hot like a tamale.
Over the weekend, I had my ringtone was hot, hot, hot like a tamale.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I was eating at Seven Lagoas yesterday, the Mexican restaurant, and when it was going off, they were looking at me really, really funny.
So funny.
Okay, lots to unpack here. First of all,
Well, you talk about the tamale comment. You know why I called her that? Is because Jill Biden called Mexicans breakfast tacos.
Tacos.
And listen, we're in Texas. We love Mexican culture. The tamale is probably one of the biggest Mexican delicacies there is. We eat them on Thanksgiving, Christmas, every holiday. So that was almost the biggest compliment you can give a person, a tamale. Jill Biden doesn't even know about tamales. So,
well, she's from the Bronx. I don't know what she knows about tamales, this
Yeah.
AOC.
well, I don't know, but they're
But I
delicious.
was a little offended because I first of all, you used the phrase big booty Latina, and you said that she's your big booty Latina. I'm actually sitting here next to
Thank
my
you.
favorite
I know,
big
I'm
booty.
sorry.
My big booty
I'm
Latina,
very
Sara
offended.
Gonzales.
Really
Sarah.
offended. I thought that I was his favorite too
Yeah.
until the moment that I saw that video, and then I realized
Please
you're my only
forgive me.
ally
Now,
here.
okay, so I saw it. What time? Let's unpack this.
Okay.
What time of day was this? You had just got off the airplane.
Okay, so what happened was I flew there on Wednesday, and you can see I was in my tourist outfit. I was still in my shorts and my
perfect.
polo, and I was staying at a hotel, a Hyatt in Capitol Hill. So as soon as I got there, it took a little while to get the car. That was about 6:30 p.m. and they were going into a session. I think it started at like around 7 or 8, and it went till 1 in the morning. So I had no idea that what was going to happen, who I was going to run into. So I just went there to try to get the lay of the land. I ran into like Jamie Raskin, and he had a son that committed suicide, and I didn't want to bring that up, and then I ran into Madison Cawthorn. I didn't want to go too hard on him because he's a conservative guy. I kind of want to give him the not too mean. Then I saw Lauren Boebert. I was pretty nice to her. Then I saw Jamal Bowman, who's part of the squad. I called him out. But there's a bunch of politicians I couldn't even recognize because there's so many there. But then I sat there for about 3 hours. It was I think it was like right around 6:37 p.m. AOC, the queen. She's coming in with her dog and her, her fiance, who looks like, he's, like he's a ghost, an actual redheaded ghost. And they walked past me, and I was just so ready, Chad. And I said this on Sarah's show. I think I was on there Tuesday or Monday. I said, I'm going to sexualize her. Everybody's like, oh, you're just some pervert. No. AOC always complains about how people want to date her. She's always talking about how she's getting her nails done in videos. She's always talking about this sexualized, victimhood that she has. So I said, you know what? I'm going to actually sexualize her, give her concrete evidence, because it's similar. Like when I went and I spoke at these city council meetings that made me go viral, when I spoke serious, nobody paid attention. But then when I started culture jamming and being goofy, that's when I got people's attention. That's when I was able to get the politician's response. So my point being is, when I went to Adam Kinzinger's face, I said, you're a douchebag, January 6th is bullcrap. You don't get a reaction. But with AOC, she fell right into my trap. I said, you're a big booty Latina. You're so sexy, yada, yada, yada. And there she goes. She just fell hook, line, and sinker. But I could have never expected the reaction. I mean, she went and made Instagram videos. She did Instagram polls. She, posted about it. And then on top of that, the best part of the whole thing, which I could have never guessed this, she went in for 3 hours, voted on all these bills, and came out and proceeded to throw the Capitol Police under the bus, exposing them for letting in the rioters on January 6th. When anybody has half a brain, I don't care if there's 1 million rioters on January 6th, they're not getting in the building without a key unlocking a door, without a mag lock unlocking a window, which both things happen. Both are in control of the Capitol Police. So now I got her to turn into a conspiracy theorist, tinfoil hat wearing, primetime Alex Stein sycophant, by saying she thinks it was an inside job.
Well, she did look good in that sheen dress.
She did.
There was some booty going on. It looks like she's had some top work done.
Yeah.
A lot of people sent me messages. Now, I was sitting at a restaurant fixing one of my favorite places, about to eat some sushi, and Chris sent me the tweet image of the thing. I immediately texted you after getting caught up on everything.
Yeah.
And I go, bro, you're a freaking legend. I use stronger language.
Yeah.
And you said, she fell right into my trap. Mm-hmm. So when the thing started blowing up and the memes were great, like there was a meme of you pushing a little domino and it was going up to the big domino January 6th about getting her to break the narrative. Then there was AOC, the meme with the head just above water like this. And it said, and then Alex Stein, big booty Latina, and her giant ass was on the bottom of the pool.
The memes were the best part of this whole thing.
They really were. And of course, there were a lot of folks out there that were they kind of had a fake outrage reaction. Conservatives, saying, oh, you were being sexist, and you can't do this. You can't get down in the weeds. We're going to talk about that in the next segment because I'm going to break this down.
Okay, good.
Because there were more things that happened, obviously, than just what we saw on the video. But, I tweeted it out, and then I tweeted again. I was like, on AOC, I got tons of reaction in my response to her where I said, you got trolled by a well-known comedian.
Yeah.
And now, whatever I said. And a lot of people said, oh, yeah, quote, well-known. And I was like, well, you know who he is.
Right.
And if you didn't, you freaking know who he is now.
Yeah, that's very true.
So there it is. I loved it. I mean, again, it's a route I could not have taken. Mm-hmm. I don't have balls that big. And again, I'm an old, creepy, perverted guy.
And so am I. And listen, Howard Stern sucks. Howard Stern stinks now. But back in the 90s and the early 2000s,
100%.
he was hilarious. He'd have the girls in. He would ask these interviews, do you do anal? Do you do all this? And people would say, oh, he's the best interviewer in the world. So we've lost our sense of humor because of political correctness. Now, did I take it to the line? Yeah. Did I take it across the line? No. She wouldn't claim that I called her juicy ass. And I said, even words. I didn't even say those words. So,
you did.
This is the thing is we have a society of political correctness. And all the people on the right that are going after me, I'm actually kind of happy because it pisses off all the right people because these people don't act like they're holier than thou and that they've never made a sexual joke. Yet all they do is make fun of her looks or their eyes. So people in this day and age want to act like they're, I'm some, perfect person. No, we're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. AOC has a nice derriere and I complimented on it. And that's that, deal with that. Come on.
And I concur. She's got a nice ass.
Yeah, she does.
Hey, right now, court packing is the real danger to our democracy. Make no mistake, court packing is a coup. And the usual suspects, Biden, Pelosi, Schumer, they're all working overtime on new radical plans to pack the Supreme Court. Look, if we don't stop them from installing 4 more justices so they can rig the system in their favor, it's going to be catastrophic for our court, our country, our way of life. We can't let that happen, not on our watch. That's why we need you to join us. We're gathering a coalition of 1 million patriots to say no to court packing, no to the liberal agenda, no to the Supreme Court coup. Franklin Graham, former U.S. Attorney General Ed Meese, Dr. James Dobson, Family Policy Alliance, the Heritage Foundation, tons of different folks. In fact, over 400,000 people like you are already on board. So I want you to sign your name to this petition. Go to supremecoup.com. That's coup, C-O-U-P, supremecoup.com to sign First Liberty's letter. That's supremecoup.com. God bless America. We'll be right back. All right, when we last saw our hero, he was standing on the steps of the Capitol, harassing AOC. That's just a fun word, harassing. Big Booty Latina. We actually have, I think you got a T-shirt coming out.
Yes, we do. Yeah, prathercheese.com. Check it out. Please go and support.
I mean, leave it to us to pounce on that and be like, Alex, we can sell you a Big Booty Latina tee.
Yeah, I'm all about it. No, I love it. And listen, this is the other thing. It's like it's a joke. People don't want to make it a joke, but it wasn't that funny. AOC went and called the comedy club that I was performing at. It was just a theater, excuse me. It was a theater, the D.C. Arts Center, and had my show canceled because of, backlash. And, I had a contract with them, but they said, of course, if they get any threats that for security reasons, they can always cut it down. So these people have no sense of humor, but it's like when I called Dan Crenshaw eye patch McCain and then he got totally ratioed. Instead of actually joking about this and having a sense of humor, these politicians don't realize that the mainstream people or the people in the middle, they do think it's funny. So they're going to end up looking bad. Like AOC looks bad for being so outraged about this. So I just think it's like they can't read the room, in my opinion.
So I am, I get called every day all these different names in the book. I'm a stereotype of the white heterosexual Christian conservative cowboy male, whatever you want to say. I'm the racist, the homophobe,
redneck,
the xenophobe, the
KKK,
transphobe, the redneck, I'm the hillbilly. I'm all these things. I probably have a Confederate flag tattooed on my ass, probably. But and I posted a joke about. I sent you the joke, and I tweeted it, where I said, 50 studies say that 56% of women who have been fully vaccinated, received all the boosters, are now having problems with their menstrual cycle. Leave it to the pharmaceutical company to make a bloody mess out of everything. And so everybody on Twitter is going, well, you need to share the study. It's a joke, people. It's a joke. What you did, Alex, was a fun joke. It was a prank. I said I was on Rubin Report with Dave Rubin Friday, and I said, the thing about Alex, I said, he's a troll, he's a prankster. I mean, this is a guy who puts on women's swimsuits and goes to the city council meetings and trolls the city council. It's using humor to make a point, which to me is the best freaking humor you can do these days.
Well, my hero, and obviously his politics suck, is Sacha Baron Cohen. I mean, obviously Andy Kaufman too, but that's what I'm trying to do. Sacha Baron Cohen would get these politicians and then basically culture jam them. That he made movies about it that were huge hits. So really, I'm kind of just using his playbook. It's so easy to get these politicians, and I said this earlier, I'm going to have a freaking second home in Washington, D.C. I'm going after every politician, and I'm trolling them all because it's too easy. Some of them have thick skin, and I know I mentioned that Adam Kinzinger, like he, kind of brushed it off because he gets hated on so much, but AOC, every fundraising event she goes to, everybody's kissing her butt. So it's the people like that never get any kickback that are the easiest to get an emotional response from.
So here's what I want to know. And you know what? I just remembered. I got beer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
have beer.
chug it down.
I was
wasn't
like,
gonna-
what I wanted to tell people, and they wouldn't have understood, is like, I want to say Alex Stein has hot sauce poisoning.
Yeah,
my
I know.
First
It's
of all,
still,
just as a quick update, how was your butthole after doing
it was
Stu's
not
Power
great.
Hour?
I didn't have a solid stool for about 48 hours. No, it was coming out. It was not. Yeah.
Did it
was-
burn when it came out?
Yeah, well, actually,
Yes.
it did. But the burning wasn't as bad as it was. Kind of like the running to the bathroom and having to go and constantly, basically, almost having to wear adult diapers. But that's fine. I don't mind doing that.
Bro,
because
I was-
anything for content.
I was ethically and philosophically opposed to you taking those shots of hot sauce. Anybody who watches Power Hour knows that I was not happy about you taking.
No!
'cause I was genuinely worried about you. That's not a
And
good
you
thing.
felt so bad. Chad took a sip of the sauce. You know,
It
he
was
wanted
hot.
to see it. I know,
it.
and it was not flavorful. And because it's like pure vinegar mixed with red chili pepper flakes or whatever
Yeah.
it is, it's not necessarily
And
a good
I was telling
thing.
somebody the other day, I said, because they were asking about it, and I said, think about that hot sauce is when you, cheers, Sarah. Where'd you pull that beer from?
Yeah.
You don't
Where'd
want
it
to
come
know.
from? Out of that big booty Latina.
Yeah.
I said, if you put hot sauce on food, it dilutes and diminishes. Drinking it straight, jeez, dude.
No, and
Anyway.
that's a 1.5 shot, and you saw how freaking Stu was pouring.
Oh, up
he was
to the brim.
I know Sarah's shots were unreal. He was pouring; it was flowing over the
No.
top. And now Stu said he can't ever drink again, which is probably not true. But I just like that we brought him to that point, the point of no return.
Stu's a horrible human being. Let's just leave it at that. Now, okay, so that wasn't the end of the story, though, right there on the Capitol.
Nope.
They call the cops.
Oh, yeah. So that was the worst part. AOC tries to play victim. She said that she complained to the cops 5 times and they didn't do anything and she threw them under the bus. They, first of all, came out there. They ID'd me. They said, let me see your ID. And, of course, I'm cooperating with them. And usually, like you can see on my YouTube channel, when I get involved with the cops, a lot of times I start filming them. But with this, I didn't have time. I was like, oh, I'm going to jail. The way they walked up to me, Chad, and I know I'm in the bail bond business. I know when a cop wants to take you to jail, right? Just the aggressive manner that they came to me. And it was multiple Capitol Police. And these are like the Keystone cops. They're not normal police. They're like there to protect the Capitol. They get my ID, they run it, they make sure I don't have any warrants, and then they're still kind of detaining me, like waiting to see if they want a supervisor to come. They don't even know what to do. And I say, am I under arrest? Am I being detained? And they're like, no. And I took my ID back and I just walked the heck out of there. But that's the problem, is she won that battle because I didn't. I could have stayed there and gotten more politicians walking in, but I was like, no, I better get the heck out of here.
I got a show to do tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the show was actually the second night, but one of my point being is I got to get out of there because I didn't want to go to jail because they were waiting on something. They didn't know how to handle me because she said, oh, I sexually harassed her. They don't know. That's probably never happened.
Which is not a crime.
Yeah, of course it's not a crime. But
So-
and listen, she's from the Bronx. You got freaking J-Lo. She's known for her big booty. But this is the other thing is she wants to claim that she's a victim, yet there's a bodega owner in her borough, her district, that is charged with manslaughter for defending his bodega from a guy that went across the counter and stabbed him, and he stabbed the guy back, murdered him, and he's being charged with murder. And the guy was attacked by the accomplice to this person that died. And people in her own district are defending their bodegas and getting charged with murder. Yet in New York, there's a guy that rubbed feces on a girl's face and got out of jail within 24 hours. So Maureen Devine, I don't know if Marianne Devine, she just did a New York Post article this morning that came out exposing the hypocrisy of AOC, how her district is literally crumbling, and all she can do is go to Washington, D.C. and claim that she got sexualized when there's so many bigger issues. So, it's really kind of, this is metastasizing, whatever you want to say. It started off as a small thing, and now people in her district are calling her a hypocrite. People are realizing that January 6th was an inside job. So there needs to be more people out there that goes and calls these politicians out.
I also really took issue with the way that she tweeted about it. She posted his video and, of course, cut out the watermark of where you can find him online
Right.
and said, here's a video he posted of the incident. I was actually walking over to deck him because if no one will protect us, then I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
But I needed to catch a vote in more than a case today. So, but it's like,
She's like,
yeah,
I'm gonna go
that
deck
doesn't
him.
look like decking, by the way. But I really took issue with, if no one will protect us. Like, protect you from what? Speech? Protect you from a compliment? Like, it was a compliment. At the end of the day, I know what your strategy was, but at the end of the day, it was a compliment.
I was thinking about this while I was drinking tequila. not to culturally appropriate. Anyway,
Latinx.
I drink Latinx. I a tequila drinker, and I have my best thoughts, and sometimes my most diabolical thoughts while I'm drinking said tequila.
That's a fact.
It does
And
that.
I wanted to go through, and I want to, and I may still do this. I'm going to pull references from all the times Big Ass is referred to, either in a rap song or a Latin song or whatever. Because again, I like big butts, and I cannot lie.
Yeah.
You other brothers can't deny. When a girl walks in with an itty bitty waist and a big round thing, I get sprung, right? I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
Shake that ass for me, shake that ass for me. Come on, girl, shake that ass for me.
Shake
I mean,
that ass
Eminem.
for me. Yeah.
Nate Dogg, I'm a menace, a dentist, an oral hygienist. Open your mouth for about 4 or 5 minutes. Take a little bit of this flow right, rinse, switch it, don't spit it. Yeah, me a big deal.
my
What you
God.
looking for?
That is really rapping today.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm looking for a girl that will do whatever I'm saying every day. She'd be giving it up. Apple bottom jeans and the big, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got the whole apple bottom jeans and the boots with the fur. It's all about big butts.
I
And
know.
what you did, my friend,
I know.
they've celebrated it forever. The big
Yes,
booty, the
yes.
big booties.
Yes.
But
It's
I
a
took that
compliment.
screenshot. So I grabbed a screenshot.
So funny.
I'm sitting there in the sushi restaurant, high-end sushi restaurant, because I ain't no slum. You know what I'm talking about? I'm sitting there, and I'm scrolling through to get that shot. I take a screenshot of it, and I was like, oh, yeah, you really look threatened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, she's pushing her 8 out of the way to come over there.
But even in hindsight, she wants to talk about police abuse of power all the time, yet she's trying to assert that the Capitol Police should have done what to you?
Throw me in the gulag. Throw me in solitary
That's what
confinement.
I'm saying. She'd be fine with it.
But Sarah, her freaking fiance was right there and didn't do a
Didn't do
thing.
shit.
That's why she was so mad, is because I totally cucked him and he looked like a little baby back biatch.
Yeah.
And so, she lost it. Like, she could not let that happen in the public sphere, because that's what she says, that viral picture of her boyfriend's nasty feet. And she's like, oh, everybody's making fun of his appearance. Everybody's sexualizing us. Well, I gave you some sexualization, and it just, she literally, lost her
But
beans.
to the bigger point, these are people like her who have called for other people to be harassed in public,
Her
right?
exact words are said, we need to make people uncomfortable.
Yes.
That's her exact
She
words,
tweeted it.
Chad.
Yep.
Yeah, so you did it. That's right. Cousin Rock Man got him and the butts done dropped. The freaks look depressed because the bends won't stop.
It's also
The
interesting.
best one is, you forgot, honky tonk, but donkey dong. That's the best
That's
one.
right. We
Yeah.
can take it all the way across.
AOC,
Daisy Dukes.
Kamala, all of these women of color who constantly talk crap about white men and somehow end up with them.
They're all with white men.
They
I know. And
are
Kamala Harris,
all with white
It's
dudes.
interesting how that happens.
and she was in a throuple with Montel. I mean, you think about that. So, she likes to do it at a
So
hibbity
weird.
dibbity.
but I mean, AOC is like, that is a white guy.
Oh my gosh.
He's
yeah, he's like a
translucent.
ghost. Yeah.
White.
Varicose is a color
A
in
white
his
ginger.
in his
He had
legs.
suntan lotion on his nose. Just
He
walking
walks
in.
around with zinc on his face.
I was like, is he a lifeguard? Oh, no, that's her fiance. Okay, all right. And he was walking the dog. I mean, I'm telling you, these people couldn't be any less serious. You would think that they were like these serious politicians. Maybe
No.
there are some,
No.
like, they're literally just like you and me. As a matter of fact, they were worse than you and me, because they think they're so self-important.
That's the problem.
Going in to chill at the office. Friends, I know you're as concerned as I am about what's going on in the world. Uncertain future, uncertain times. I want you to be prepared. There's crazy stuff going on right now. I don't want you to be a victim. Go to preparewithchad.com. I'm going to get you a special deal, get you $150 off a 3-month emergency food kit from my friends at My Patriot Supply. The food kit contains a wide variety of great meals, not bunker food, delicious stuff, and it's enough to last 3 solid months per person. Now, these meals are going to give you 2,000 calories a day. Make sure that you're strong, got the energy you need. This My Patriot Supply food kit is something you've got to have for every member in your family, and I'm afraid you're going to wish you had it when the disaster strikes. Go ahead and do it today. Go to preparewithchad.com. Claim the $150 savings per kit. It's going to ship fast, free, arrive in unmarked boxes for total privacy. That's preparewithchad.com. I said preparewithchad.com. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. It's that time of the show where I take an opportunity to, of course, wax eloquent. Folks, it is usually my duty on Mondays to get a little more serious, bring before you some item of news which is either profoundly sad that, you almost have to laugh at it, it's so bad, or else so bizarrely stupid that you might fairly weep for the circling motion around the drain into which our common culture finds itself ensconced. But every once in a while, I've got to shake things up. Now, the following story I'm going to tell you is the sort that we usually save for our Good News Friday, but I just can't help myself. I got to bring it to you today. This is a sort of Monday morning pickup that you need, and it won't get you jail time. I've had a few of those Mondays. So, okay, it's a win-win. Come on. Take a little trip with me, and let's visit an interesting and heartwarming story, shall we? Dateline, Mayfield Heights, Ohio. Here lives Tony Fallu, a 90-year-old McDonald's franchise owner who recently made the news after he paid 90 of his employees for 3 months while the restaurant was closed for some much-needed repairs. It was either that or he would have had to lay most of them off, and that was something Tony just wasn't willing to do. So it's a good deed. Now, there's a ton to unpack just from the details I'm giving you so far, folks, but let's pile a couple more things on before we get to the analysis stage. Not only was this man an immigrant of the legal variety from Greece, but he also enlisted in the Army and fought as an infantryman in the Korean War. Now, for those of you that have forgotten or never knew what the word enlisted means, it means he volunteered to fight for a country he was not born in. So he fought for our country, then came back home to the States and started working. In 1962, he began working at a McDonald's in Mayfield Heights, Ohio, and in the 60 years since then, he worked his way up from not only just owning that very restaurant and a number of others, but, this guy made something of himself that's incredible. So, in other words, folks, this man has lived pretty much every aspect of the American dream, complete with coming here from a foreign land when he was a kid to do so. And here's the thing about the American dream that the radical left either doesn't get or doesn't want you to get. It doesn't just come with rewards. It also comes with a responsibility to your fellow man that's felt deep in the hollow places of your soul. So often the left rambles on about the need to force altruism at the point of a gun because they stupidly believe that most rich people don't give back to the community that birthed them in any way. And hey, don't get me wrong, there are shitheads in every demographic out there, including the folks who've made it to the top of the heap. But let me ask you something, and this is something you can ask your leftist friends the next time they talk about the government forcing rich people to pay their fair share. Here it is. Do you think it means more for a rich guy to pay more in taxes or to decide of his own free will that 90 of his employees aren't going to go on unemployment if he has anything to say about it? And I don't just mean that it gets you more in the feels, although it certainly does. What I mean is that it sets the example. It paves the way for others to do the same thing. You and I can do the same in our own lives, in our own way, according to our own means. Maybe neither of us can afford to pay 90 employees for a few months, but today would be a great day to give a homeless person a sandwich. Bet we could do that today. Not that we've got all the, hippy-dippy saving humanity crap out of the way, folks. Now that we got that dealt with, let's examine the real question here overall. Y'all want to know what it is? What kind of McDonald's has 90 employees? That's what I want to know.
Good one.
Good God, Mayfield Heights, Ohio, you're killing it.
Well, first of all, as the McDonald's expert on the panel, there's nothing more American than the all-American meal, 2 cheeseburgers, a large fry, and a Coca-Cola.
True.
So God bless this man right now. Coming from Greece, which actually they're known for their hamburgers, and coming to America and starting a McDonald's franchise. If it wasn't for McDonald's, I wouldn't be the thick boy that I am today.
Yeah.
So I just want to say thank you. And I'm going to go eat a Big Mac today, even though with no meat because I'm a vegetarian, but I'm gonna have extra fries. And guys, go get some chicken nuggets to support this man.
Yeah, dude, listen, I'm telling you, you do
support
not
him.
get in the shape that I'm in by avoiding McDonald's. I'm just telling you.
Listen,
this is how you do this.
This is another thing, Chad. Okay, this is the other thing is people, I hate McDonald's. It's genetically modified food to create some sort of response in you that is addicting. So it is good food, and it doesn't biodegrade. So you can leave in your car for a month, and you can still go back and eat it. I do it all the time.
I'm a living proof of that. You can leave it in my truck for a long time.
But everybody
It's really
acts like
good.
they're too good for McDonald's yet. And actually, I want to back up. This is a serious point. There used to be a time, and I remember as a kid, going to McDonald's was like a big event. Now it's becoming so cheap and kind of gross. It's just like this terrible place. But I remember as a young kid, when my parents would take me to McDonald's, that was some of my favorite.
They had birthday parties.
Yeah,
there.
birthday
I had a
parties.
birthday party
Oh my
there,
gosh,
yeah.
there was a time when McDonald's
You used to have a
had
contest of who had the longest French fry.
I'm saying, I don't
Really?
remember that, but that sounds cool. I'm
Back
just
in my
saying,
day.
McDonald's McDonald's used to be it was like a family friendly, actually really cool place. I had some of my best memories going with my mom eating McNuggets or eating the breakfast at McDonald's, and now it's kind of devolved into this hellhole where people are jumping across the counter and beating everybody up. Yeah. But there was a real big part of American culture, McDonald's, that used to be great, and sadly it's kind of devolved like everything else.
And they used to have the playland, the playground, like you could get inside of the jail, the Hamburglar jail. Like you could crawl up in there and get stuck.
That was fun. Oh, and you'd have to take off your shoes, and you'd have your shoe, and I would lose a shoe, and my mom would be like, "It's in the ball pit," and
which is where COVID started, the ball pit.
No, it's because that ball pit was the vaccine. That's what they don't want to know. Hanging out in that vaccine, you got the antibodies. But now that we don't have that ball pit, we don't.
No, that's true. You get in there and lick all those balls, and there'd be a shitty diaper just sitting right there on top of the balls.
Of course,
and there would be, and the kid would be playing all around it, and they just kick it around.
Chick-fil-A used to still have play areas, which were not as good as the McDonald's ones, but I don't think they ever opened them back up after COVID.
No, they won't. And they won't. That's the end of an era.
It's just
right
no,
there.
No
you
more
remember
play
back
places.
in the 70s? Well, you don't, but
no.
We had lawn darts. We had lawn darts. We had. Do you even know what lawn darts are?
I know, but they got outlawed because people would get hit by them when they threw them. What was the deal?
It was a dart that you threw. It was a dart that was
An
16
actual
inches long.
Yeah.
With wings on the back of it. You don't know. You're looking at me. You don't know what lawn darts are?
No.
Okay, here's what you did. You got about 20 yards away from each other.
Yeah.
You set up. You put a ring on the ground. No. You put a ring on the ground. They put a ring on the ground. You had two people on each team. And what you did is you took these darts.
Like actual darts.
Yes, huge darts.
Heavy 100 gauge darts.
Oh my God.
They look like a dart, but they're like this big.
This does not
and you
sound
took it by
safe.
the back end, and it was heavy on the front. So you were basically throwing a javelin at a child.
Yeah.
So you would sling it in the air, 30 feet in the air, and it would just come whistling down. And it would stick in the ground because it was so heavy. The point, it was always landed point first. And you would try to throw it in the person's ring, and you kept score.
Yeah.
This is the kind of shit we did when we were kids. They were like, you know what? F them kids. Let them go play lawn darts.
That was the original transgender surgery. You get hit in the penis with a lawn dart, and they'd have to change your gender. But now
we used to have BB gun fights. We literally shot each other with BB guns. Of course.
Come on.
We
Sarah.
tried to say, keep it below the waist, but that didn't always happen.
Oh my God.
No, above the waist. You didn't want to get hit in the... you like a below the waist.
Yeah, we try to keep it so it hits your jeans.
Okay, well...
I had friends that had to go to the hospital and get BBs removed.
Well, but Chet, it's the pussification of children too. I mean, we're all protecting
Okay, I'm
kids.
sorry. I'm not sure that I'm going to let my boys
No, you're
shoot
the
each
most
other with a
overprotective
BB gun.
parent ever, so we know
Yeah.
you're not going to. But I just can't imagine you just turning your kid loose and go, hey, go throw darts at each other.
No.
And I mean, big ones like could impale your head.
No.
Sarah, do you let the kids just like ride their bikes till the sun comes down?
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
I
so
do.
so that's the thing. I remember.
Yeah,
As long
I'm
as you
not-
stay in the garage.
No, Chad.
They could do a little circle.
You are lying right now. Yes, I do. And I mean, obviously my younger one is a toddler, but my older one, I give him the freedom. He wears a watch that has a,
tracker. Yeah. See, we
He
didn't
can
have
only-
the.
and he
we
can
didn't have
he
an
can
Apple-
call
shock
me.
if he gets more than 100 feet
No,
from the house.
shut
an
up.
Apple AirTag on
So
all those
I am
little
not
kids.
contributing to the pussification of the men. I'm just saying maybe there's a line between like shooting yourself with a BB gun
Well, remember when we
and
started this
being
show?
able to be a kid.
Hang on, we got to go to break. Remember we started this show about it's all about parenting,
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
Let's go back to when parents let kids shoot each other,
Yeah.
all right?
Then they don't have to go in school shootings. If they shoot each other, they get it out of
You
the
get
way.
it out of your
Yeah,
system.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
a theory. That's a theory. All right. I love my Minutemen coffee. Unapologetic folks. They are incredibly unapologetic in their stance and their love for this country. Proud to be one of the fastest growing coffee companies in the nation. The economy sucks. Food and fuel through the roof. Minutemen Coffee hasn't changed their price. They have not raised it one bit. You can still get a full pound of their amazing single origin and blended coffee. You get it for less than most places charge for a cup. And I know that's crazy. They could raise their prices. They just didn't do it. Minutemen is partnered with Share Life Vacations, and what they're doing is if you buy their 3-month prepaid coffee subscription with the free shipping, you're going to, it's only $95, by the way. You're going to get 2 full pounds of amazing coffee delivered to your door for 3 months, and Minutemen Coffee is going to send you a $100 hotel voucher that's good at over 700,000 locations. So you're going to get $95. It's going to give you 3 months of coffee, $100 towards a hotel. You can't beat it. So I want you to go to MinutemenCoffee.com. Use if you don't like that deal, I'll still get you 15% off. How about that? Use promo code CHAD. I spell it Chad. at MinutemenCoffee.com, and they'll hook you up. I promise you. I went to the door the other day, was leaving to come to the studio, open it up, and I was like, what is this in a FedEx package? Open it up. Boom, my house was immediately filled with this Minutemen Coffee aroma. So check them out, MinutemenCoffee.com. Sign up for that subscription. Get $100 towards the next hotel stay. That's a full tank of gas, basically. MinutemenCoffee.com. We'll be right back. What do y'all want to talk about? Let's. What?
Well, I was just going to say I'm just really hungry for tamales now.
Yeah, I know.
Let's get the hell out of here and go.
We gotta go get some Mexican
Let's
food.
go get fat.
Yeah,
I'm all about
I want
that.
some big booty. Mexican food is just the same meat wrapped in a different shaped tortilla. I mean, that's all it is.
Well, that's why I loved when Joe Biden said that the Hispanic Latino community is as unique as breakfast tacos. I'm like, breakfast tacos are not actually very unique,
I
to be
eat
honest.
a lot of Tex-Mex, okay, which is different from Mexican food.
Right.
It's very different.
Right.
I'm going to eat a lot of Mexican food next week because I'm going on vacation. There will be no new Chad Prather
Wait,
shows.
where are we going on vacation, Chad? I didn't know this.
I'm going on vacation. I'm out of here next week. I'm doing nothing. I'm going to do my best to unplug, which means it will be the hottest news cycle of the year because I'll be out of the way.
Yep.
I'll still have the Wi-Fi, whatever, if I need to, say something snarky. But yeah,
You know what I'd like to bring up though, Chad? What do you think about the 376 police officers at the Uvalde shooting?
So let's talk about that for a second because I just posted. Chris sent me we made a little meme. Uvalde school massacre, law enforcement response. There were 376 responders total, 20 different agencies. There was 149 United States Border Patrol, 91 Texas Department of Public Safety, 14 Department of Homeland Security. And that is Texas House Committee report on the Uvalde shooting. It's an absolute sham. You saw the pictures. I called out the guy doing the hand sanitizer. There's a dude sitting there on his phone laughing about something. There's that image that's out there. I didn't say anything about the guys being on the cell phone simply because it turns out one of them apparently was his wife was shot and he was trying to,
Get in touch with her.
I left the phone thing alone because I can understand why you might be using your phone to have comms or to understand what's going on. That might be a thing. I wouldn't think that would be typical protocol for law enforcement to be getting your information from a phone, but
Nothing about this was typical.
Nothing
so who
about
knows?
it was typical. But I just didn't say anything because I don't know who was trying to get in touch with who. To get reports in a small community, you might have your phone. But anyway, this is
smiling,
that's the
Chad?
guy smiling right there.
It's like, how are you going to be smiling during?
Yeah, and I mean, he looks like he's reading something funny on his deal. So I've consistently called it out. You've consistently called it out. We talked about it. We read the actual report and went through it on overtime. You and I did. So if you've missed that and you're not a subscriber to BlazeTV, go to blazetv.com/Chad. Use promo code Chad and sign up so you can get things like overtime. But the whole thing pisses me off. It's gotten real hard to just say back the blue. And again, because somewhere the buck stops somewhere. I want there to be an investigation. I want to find out what the F was going on.
Yeah, and I'd like to say too, I know there's someone who watches Blaze who reached out to me and said, could you have maybe, you guys are not experts, so maybe you should have Brandon Tatum on your show, who has been very, very, very defensive of the Uvalde police officers throughout this entire thing, former police officer. And they said, well, maybe you should have an expert on your show because you seem to not be getting it. And I said, with all due respect, I've read all of the information from the experts, presumably a little more expert than Brandon Tatum, who I love. I think he's a great person.
Brandon's a good friend.
But
and
I'm
I
like,
understand that. But
I read a 27-page report from the law enforcement training center that went through all of this. We listened to the head of the Texas DPS talk about what a failure it was. I mean, it's not like I haven't been reading and relaying what the experts have been saying. And so it's just frustrating. It's like, just because the experts aren't saying what you necessarily agree with doesn't mean that I have to talk to an expert who might share your opinion. Like, I'm reading the top of the chain and all of them say it was a freaking failure on all accounts.
Brandon Tatum is a friend of mine.
Yeah, mine too.
He's a personal friend.
I love his wife as well.
I'm good friends with his wife.
Yeah.
I love his family. I would do anything in this world for him. And so I don't say that with any disrespect.
No.
I appreciate his take, and I've listened to his takes on this, but even having listened to him, there's not one thing he said that's changed my opinion on this scenario.
Mine either.
Not with everything I've read.
Right.
And I started from the very beginning on this thing, and I said, something's fishy, and everybody was calling me out saying, you're an asshole for saying this, and I was like, nope, I'm not wrong. I'm telling you something's here. We just don't know yet.
Yeah.
Well, guys, they spent more time, excluding the parents from running in the building. I mean, if so it just seems very weird, the standard operating procedure. And, if you look into the stats, that school had been locked down, I think, 400 times within the last 5 years. So that was standard operating procedure. That wasn't the first time they've locked down like that.
Yeah. And if you do look at all the breakout scenarios where illegals get stopped and they break out of the car or whatever you call it, break away, and they all take off everywhere, that's why a lot of times they're saying that police response is slower because they just anticipate it to be another one of those situations.
Right.
Real quick, do we have time for a TikTok? Do we want to play it?
Do you know what state Utah is in?
Utah?
Yeah.
No.
What state does it sound like it would be in if you had to guess?
Hawaii?
Yes. What's 3 times 3 plus 1?
7. Wait. Yeah, 7.
Yes. How many states make up the United States? Guess a number if you don't know. 5. Yes. How many stars are on the U.S. flag?
57, 51, 51, 50, 50 something.
51. You're close.
50. It was 51.
Yes.
Well, in a way, it's 50 stars, but D.C. is its own state, so I almost want to give them that one.
Oh, stop.
I'm loving this guy. He's asking the simplest questions, these people. I'm loving his videos.
Well, Chet, I talk about this all the time. And I talk about this all the time. They did a A&W Hamburgers, when they tried to get in the hamburger business, they did a nationwide market research survey where they asked people what they thought was a better value trying to compete with McDonald's Quarter Pounder. They said for the same price, what is a better value, the third pounder burger or Quarter Pounder? And literally, overwhelmingly, everybody thought a Quarter Pounder was bigger than a third pounder.
You mean
they thought
really?
25% was bigger than 33% because they're so dumb. They couldn't even do it. And they see the 4. They thought 1/4 was more than 1/3. So people can't even do a simple fraction. And that's why everybody's under the mass formation hypnosis right now.
They are.
Because people can't even do a simple mathematical formula.
If you want to troll like the best, you got to get the rest like Alex Stein does. And one of the best things you could do to improve your health is get at least 7 hours of quality sleep every night. It's hard to get that much sleep. Trust me, I know. Sara Gonzales sees my 3 a.m. text. She knows we don't neither one of us sleep. Your mind stays awake, can't get comfortable. You wake up early, can't fall asleep. Listen, there's hundreds of reasons you can't get 7 hours of sleep. Quality sleep every night. But listen, it's important because your body heals itself when you sleep. Now, if you're not getting enough quality sleep, you're increasing your risk of disease and making it harder to lose weight as well. I want to give you an easy way to get more quality sleep every night. You got to get enough magnesium, and you got to get the right kinds of magnesium. Believe it or not, around 75% of people don't have enough of it, which helps explain why so many people have sleep problems. Now, unfortunately, most magnesium supplements are not full spectrum, so they will not fix your magnesium deficiency or help you sleep better. Just having a good conversation the other day with a friend of mine. She said, I just can't sleep. I said, you got to try this new incredible sleep aid with just, it's not a trick, it's just magnesium. 7 forms of magnesium. You need all of them to get the calming experience. Magnesium Breakthrough by Bioptimizers. Take 2 capsules before you go to bed. You're going to be amazed how much better you feel. Exclusive offer, magbreakthrough.com. Save /Chad, use 42%, magbreakthrough.com/Chad, 42% on Magnesium Breakthrough when you go to magbreakthrough.com/Chad. We'll be right back. WatchChad.com is where all the fun stuff is. I've got some shows coming up. Going to be a week after next. The week after vacation, going to be a couple shows in Lubbock, Texas, and bouncing all over the place. WatchChad.com. Check it out. Sara Gonzales Unfiltered, the new YouTube channel. Just search out Sara Gonzales TX. And, of course, Alex Stein is everywhere. Prime time 99. Get insane with the Ukraine, baby.
Yeah, that's right.
Whatever did you say? Get insane for the Ukraine. My book's falling down. The new audio book's coming out. Get it. Am I crazy? I love y'all. Tomorrow's Tuesday. Who knows what we're going to get into? All the stuff we didn't today. But join us. We love you. God bless you. Talk to you then. Bye.